Hey Retro Gamers. Today on Smashing Bricks, we head back to 2004 so that we can head back to 1964 to sneak around and scavenge for food in the Soviet Union in Metal Gear Solid 3 Skill Issue for the PlayStation 2. I mean, Snake Eater for the PlayStation 2.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
Hey, welcome back to Smashing Bricks, a retro gaming podcast. This is episode 46. My name is Eddie Inzauto, and today I'm joined once again by Nolan of the New Game Plus podcast. Hey, Nolan, what's going on, man?
How are you, Eddie? Nothing much. I'm doing pretty good.
Nice. That was a call out to some of their recent episodes. Nolan's been a little bit of a rascal in their intros lately.
I've just felt like Kenny lately. I don't know. Sometimes, I just feel like him. So they have to deal with it.
Wow. I can't even fathom what it feels like to be Kenny, to be honest.
Honestly, same. Yeah.
Just in case anyone doesn't know, you want to give a brief overview of what your show is all about?
Of course. We are a retro gaming podcast as well, where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game, and then we talk about it. We have a weekly show. Been doing it for 10 years in a couple weeks, actually. So we're on the countdown for episode 500, which is insane. And we go through a catalog of retro games that our community has built, and we randomize every single week with a couple of exceptions for special episodes, and then we play it. So, yeah, similar, goodness. I think. We're kindred spirits, these two shows.
Respect, though, because that's kind of a grueling schedule, and especially when you don't know what's coming every time. You guys get a lot of terrible games, too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, mostly terrible games, but yeah, I mean, at this point, I guess we're used to it, but yeah, it's a quick turnaround. It's unfortunate because I like your style because, I mean, we talked about the game that we're going to be talking about a long time ago, and so I had plenty of time to, sit with it, which obviously I prefer, but it's fun. We have fun over there.
Yeah, I like the full month. Especially like I'm old. I used to play games all the time. Now I do so many things that are not playing video games, and it's like hard to sit down and get through a game. A month is like about the amount of time it takes for me to get through a game. I just finished Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater today. And I know it's not the 15th when I release the episode, but still,
sure.
It takes a bit. But that's the game we're talking about. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, not considered by many people in this world to be a terrible game, like some of the games that come up randomly.
No, I would say it's probably considered the opposite by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think it's the best in the series. So I was curious what your take on that is, or where you rank it. Have you played all of them?
I have not played all of them.
Same.
We'll talk about my whole history in just a minute, but first let's get some of these basics of this game out of the way. It is in the Metal Gear Solid series, which is a stealth action series, I guess you could say. This one was released November 17th, 2004 in North America, December 16th, 2004 in Japan, which is interesting to me that the North American release was a month sooner. March 2005 in the EU and Australia, and then they released the Subsistence kind of patch on a disc the next year in 2005 and 2006, depending on which region. This was developed by Konami Computer Entertainment Japan and published by Konami. And as I said, stealth action, but I almost want to say this is a stealth action sim game in a way, depending on the difficulty you play it on. Difficulty in
I
this
would
game
agree with
comes
that.
into play a lot. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's like simmy. Actually, I thought just today, wait, is this an immersive sim? Because I don't know what an
Yeah,
immersive
that's
sim
the
is.
genre I was trying to recall, because games like Deus Ex, games like
Mhm.
System Shock, those immersive sims, these games have always been very close in my mind. The Metal Gear Solid games, but
Yeah. This one
stealth
in
action, I guess,
particular.
is more accurate.
Yeah. But this one, like, of all the Metal Gear Solid games that I've played, it's the least focused, mechanically. It gives you
Hmm.
a lot of options. You have a wide decision space, I think, with all of the tools and tricks at your disposal in this one.
Yeah.
But the primary mechanics in this one are A, watching cutscenes, B, pressing the circle button to progress through your radio conversations, C, menuing, using the cure, camouflage, food systems, and the map, and then stealth and some shooting and some close quarters combat, all in combination on your way to, I guess, to play out this Cold War era espionage story.
Yeah, I mean, prequel, which is kind of interesting to put smack dab number 3 in the series. I always
Yeah.
thought that was interesting, and I'd kind of forgotten that too. It's been a while, but yeah, Cold War era, so not techie. It's more, I don't know, grounded, accurate.
Yeah, it feels like an 80s film, even though it's
Yeah,
set in the
kind of does.
60s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Super story driven.
it's Kojima
Most,
after all.
yeah. Yeah. It's almost like a lot of times I play his games and I'm like, man, he wanted to make a movie, but he made a
Oh,
game.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I believe he is trying to, question mark, Death Stranding movie or something I keep hearing
Really?
about. I don't know
Oh,
if
I didn't
it's
know about that.
greenlit quite yet, but I don't know who he's talking to. I just saw a headline because I mean it's obvious too, especially with this one and that intro of this game. You're like, yeah, this guy wanted to make movies, just straight up.
He wanted to make a Bond film.
Yep.
Has that
Yep.
nice Bond-esque opening song, which is fantastic and
Mhm.
will not be unstuck from my head for like another month after this for sure.
It's a banger.
But yeah, so this one, I believe, is the very first in the chronology of all the Metal Gear games. It shows the boss, gives us the story of the boss and how Big Boss, a major character in all of the earlier games, came to be. And we'll get to some more of that. But you asked me about whether I played the other games, so I'll just take our prior relationships first.
Yeah.
I played the first 4 games, I think, and none of the handhelds, if I remember correctly. So the
Did you
first
play them
one
at
I
release?
actually played. I played Metal Gear Solid very close to release, but I was a Nintendo 64 kid, so
Same.
I was really focused on GoldenEye that year. A lot of the Nintendo stuff. My friends had PlayStations. I had a PlayStation also, but I didn't have this game, the first game, Metal Gear Solid. So I dabbled in it, and I thought
Okay.
it was cool, but I didn't get super into it then. It was only in the GameCube era when Twin Snakes came out. I played that first
Oh
in
yeah.
in its entirety. And I know a lot of people didn't like that because the challenge was a big component of Metal Gear Solid to a lot of people. And by putting in a lot of those Metal Gear Solid 2 mechanics and the new engine and stuff into Metal Gear Solid 1's framework, it made it very easy. You could just go into first person and kind of negate a lot of the challenges. But I enjoyed that one a lot. Then I went and played Metal Gear Solid, the original one on the PlayStation. And
Yep.
then 2005, I had a completed playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 2 on my memory card. I checked while I was
Oh,
playing through
nice.
Metal Gear Solid 3. And it was January 12th, 2005.
Okay, so around this time then.
Yeah. I think what I was doing is I was almost like preparing for MGS3 in a way.
Yeah.
And then the memory card file I have for the original MGS3 Snake Eater was February 12th, 2005. So exactly 1 month after my full playthrough of MGS2, I had my full playthrough of MGS3, and those followed MGS1 and Twin
Nice.
Snakes before it. So I played those, and then I played MGS4 at some point. And that was it. That was the last one I played through was MGS4. So
Gotcha.
I don't know which one I like the best. Maybe this episode will help us figure it out. But what about you? What's your prior relationship with this game and the rest of the series?
So, in preparation for this episode, this was my first time playing Snake Eater.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Yep. It's one that I've wanted to get around to it, and there is currently out the Delta remake or remaster. It's a remake, right? It's like a full-on remake.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to say because it's pretty true to the original. But either way,
Sure.
it looks amazing, and it's an
It looks
updated
amazing.
version of this game.
I didn't play that this week. I did play the original. But I kind of still want to play this Delta version. It looks really good. Now, the rest of the series, I came to later. So you're saying you were playing around 04, 05. That was not me. I was in 64 like you, and I never had... Well, I did have a PS2, but I didn't get into the Metal Gear games until later. So on the podcast, we've actually played Metal Gear Solid 2 and 1. I can't remember. But that was my first time playing 2 as well. So, or like playing it all the way through. I think I'd maybe dabbled here and there at a friend's house. But yeah, it's a series that I came to later and immediately clicked with. I love the tone of it, the Kojima-ness of it, if you will. And I think, that this series is fun to get into because you're not just playing through an interesting series, which you are, but you're also getting into the mind of the director of the game. There are some series where the creator is an enigma and has put a lot of their soul into the game, and this is a perfect example,
Yeah, for sure. Like a Kojima game has something about it. It's just, you can tell.
It's got that stink
that's a
to it.
Kojima game. Yeah.
And this one was no different. So I was really pumped to play through this game. And again, I'm glad I got to take my time with it instead of having to play it in a week.
Which may be important, taking your time in this game. But a little bit of the history about it. Some of the contemporary games at the time. This was 2004, as we said, late 2004. And it had some strong competition, and this is a reason why someone might have been able to miss this game. Half-Life 2 came out that year, the Ninja Gaiden remake on Xbox, GTA San Andreas, Metroid Prime 2, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, Halo 2, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes came out earlier the same year, Unreal Tournament 4, Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, another stealth action game, which was very well received. World of Warcraft came out this year, and Rome Total War, just to name a few.
Wow, that's
taken
crazy.
People away. Yeah.
I mean, 2025, we keep saying, has been an amazing year for game releases, but it's fun to go back and look at some of these years and just see how insane it actually was. Like, that's a crazy year.
Yeah. We just did the bonus round episode on the best games of 2001, and that was just pure insanity. We could have had a top 30 of 2001 and not run out of games.
Yeah.
Crazy. As we said, Hideo Kojima was the designer, director, producer, and writer, along with Tomokazu Fukushima and Shuyo Murata. And in the development of this game, it was intended to be on the PS3, but that system took longer than expected to make it to market, so they put it back on the PS2. And it was always intended to be a departure from the Metal Gear Solid series. The setting here is pretty drastically different, at least to start. It puts you outdoors in the wilderness, far away from the base that you're intended to infiltrate and your final objective, whereas The prior two games started you kind of when Snake or Raiden arrived at the facility that you were
Yep.
going to be doing all of your infiltration in. So here you had to make it there, and that was intentional to make it more realistic. And in doing this, they encountered a lot of challenges. The jungle was tough. The landscape itself made them have to develop an entirely new collision engine because they had to deal with verticality a lot more. It wasn't just squared off spaces and obstacles, more natural. They had to do new motion capture. They had to deal with adding the weather and the wildlife. And, ultimately they did it, but it took them a little bit of extra effort. They deliberately, this is a big thing. So I mentioned how the subsistence version of the game was released a year after, and the main thing that added was the 3D controllable camera, because people wanted that. And Hideo Kojima deliberately did not want to add that to this game when they made Snake Eater. It was specifically left out to match the first two games.
Oh.
And I have a lot to say. Well, I have at least a little bit to say about that later. And another intention for this game was to make the boss fights more unique than they had ever been before. And we'll see if he achieved that. When I was thinking about how they went from Snake being in his, I'm going to use the word dungeon here because I know you're a Zelda guy. Imagine a Zelda game that instead of being like Snake Eater, where you explore the wilderness and get to the dungeon, imagine the entire game is like the 8 dungeons all connected in a row, and you just start at the beginning of the first one and have to make it all the way through.
Just invert the format altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And I'm sure,
I
mean, you might be able to speak to this because it was around the time that you played it. Like, I'm sure it was kind of jarring for, people that were huge fans of 1 and 2 to do that. Because, I mean,
different.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. And like it feels, and I kind of said earlier, but like it's not tech heavy because they're trying to stay a little rooted in the 60s and the Cold War setting. It's just an espionage movie. Like the beginning feels like James Bond. You said that too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a level in GoldenEye that this entire setting reminds me of. I mean, it's called Jungle, I think, in GoldenEye. But it is a very, it's a strange place to drop a stealth character in. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and it was pretty successful. I would say it's a commercial success. It sold 2.38 million units by December of the year it was released, which is a month later, and not even a half a month later in Japan.
That's wild.
And 3.6 million copies worldwide by August 2005. This was actually a lot lower than Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, which had sold 7 million copies.
I wonder why that was. Yeah. What?
I mean, 2005, 360 was out. PS3 was the next year. Maybe it was
people were hungry for next gen.
Everyone's hyped. Yeah.
Like people
but also,
had their eyes on that
Metal
next
Gear
console.
Solid 2, a lot of people had a bitter taste in their mouth because of the whole, I'm playing as Raiden thing instead of Snake.
I love Raiden.
That game ended in a way which I always think of, not only when I'm talking about video games, but every once in a while, just, the end of Metal Gear Solid 2. That was a thing.
It's like a flashback, like a war flashback.
I'll be reading the news. Metal Gear Solid 2 predicted all this.
I remember when that happened in MGS2. Yeah. Yep. It's like The Simpsons predicting everything.
Exactly. Going to talk about some ports and remakes here because it's had a bunch. Metal Gear Solid 3D Snake Eater on the 3DS in 2012, which is insane to me. And of course, Metal Gear Solid Delta just a couple months ago here on the PS5, Windows, and Xbox Series consoles. Also, the Metal Gear Solid HD collection in 2011 on the PS3 and 360. And Metal Gear Solid Master Collection just 2 years ago on the Switch, PS4, PS5, Windows, and Xbox Series consoles.
I'm glad they released that Master Collection. because a while ago, I mean, I don't know, before that was announced, I was like, what's the best way to play these games? Because I guess the HD collection, maybe people would have pointed you in that direction for a while. But I do like that it's on modern consoles. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very available. And I think the Master Collection was already kind of updated as far as graphical fidelity and stuff,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, at least in resolution, maybe. And maybe they didn't touch the details too much, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I looked up some screenshots. It looks great.
Yeah. Critical success also, 91% out of 100 on Metacritic.
Very
It
good.
got 8s and 9.5s, 8.7, 4.5, 9.6. Best story, best use of sound from IGN, best story, best sound effects, best new character from GameSpot. I don't know, who was that character? Best overall action game, also from IGN.
It's got some credentials.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure throughout the years it has been on many lists of best PS2 games, and maybe more than best PS2 games. At a 91 out of 100 on Metacritic, that's pretty good.
It's very high, yeah.
Interestingly enough, we were talking about the different games. It's the lowest of the first 5 games as far as Metacritic score. Metal Gear Solid
Really?
5 has a 93, Metal Gear Solid 4 has a 94, Metal Gear Solid a 94, and Metal Gear Solid 2, 96.
Dude, that's so high. Like,
Yeah.
that's really high up for all those games. And so, that's surprising to me. And I haven't played 4, so I can't speak to it, but I'm surprised 4 is above it because I don't hear about
I
that one
remember
often.
the complaints about 4 were just like, there's no game here. It's all cutscenes.
I'm fine with that.
Even more so.
I'm fine.
But it's so interesting because, like you said, a lot of people say, oh, this is the best one, MGS3. A lot of people say MGS2 is the best one and MGS3 is the worst one. And it's like all over the place. Everyone loves their different Metal Gear Solid games, but I think it might also just come down to people loving them all kind of across the board.
I'm sure.
And having to pick.
Yeah. I know my favorite so far out of the ones I've played, but I'll save it till the end. So you got to listen to the end of the episode.
Gotta listen. Okay. Now, what did we think about our play? We played it. Had plenty of time to play it. Did you finish the game?
I have not finished the game yet.
Oh, man.
That's going to be hard spoiler-wise, I know. But
I'm really curious to know where you are.
I'll tell you this. The last boss I fought, because in my mind, that's like as I was playing through, that was kind of my, those are my like chapter dividers, so to speak.
Yeah.
Was Volgan?
Oh, okay.
Volgan, yeah. So
okay.
I got a chunk through, but I definitely am planning to finish it. So
yeah, you have like, depending on how far after Volgan, it's not a whole lot more, but a lot of impact more is left.
Right. You mean like story wise?
Yeah, call me when you're crying at the end.
Oh no.
Okay.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I believe it though.
Okay,
I mean, that's what these games do, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we know it's a cinematic experience, but what can you tell us about like the overall game structure? We said stealth, we talked a little bit about it, but stealth games, they kind of like pick a lane to stay in, and there's like a framework and a mindset that the player has to operate in. And this one has its way, and other games have their own way, like Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. You climb on wires above people. In Zelda games, sometimes you do stealth. You just wait for patrol men to like walk back and forth, and then you sneak around them. How does this one compare to other stealth games that you're familiar with?
Well, I mean, the obvious comparison is to compare it to the game that came before it, which I place these in a category of like, you said it earlier, but I almost want to say immersive sim style that is more centered around like the stealth aspect and navigating the environments that the game places you in, which is a huge component of 3, given that you are outdoors and given that they introduced a new mechanic to the series, which wasn't in there before, which was the camouflage that plays a huge role in how you sneak around, crawl around.
Stay still around?
Yes, slither around, like it's named correctly, going through the tall grass and everything. But honestly, it's like this one in particular feels more sandboxy. You have so many options, and the answer's not always like, we probably had very different experiences, like going through different scenarios in the game. So I almost want to throw the word sandbox around when I'm describing the kind of stealth game that this is.
Yeah. Sandbox, it's like this isn't a video game genre, but I'd almost call it a toolbox game. They're like, here's a bunch of tools, figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure out how to not get caught.
Yeah.
And you said you appreciated having a lot of time. This game, to me, is incredibly slow paced if you want to do it in a fulfilling way.
Yeah.
Like you can actually just sprint through this game. You can really blaze through it, but in order to like have fun and feel fulfilled, in my opinion, you play slowly.
Yeah, I agree.
And you go into those menus, you grab your appropriate camouflage, which when you wear different colored camo gives you a different percentage. It's almost like the stuff that was in the background in every other stealth game is now visible for you to have an effect on.
Yeah.
Which makes it sort of like RPG-ish in a way. Messing with your equips.
Yeah, all that. I mean, that is a good point, that like the game lets you approach these stealth scenarios. And when I say scenarios, I just mean areas. Come across a kind of decrepit wall that is a makeshift base that they've made a little base of operations. And you're like, okay, I want to infiltrate this space. What should I do? I have a pistol, but I also can just make some noise, go around that guy, but then this guy's kind of straight up in my way, so I'm just going to take him out. Like, it's just fun. Like, it's fun figuring out how to get over this obstacle that they've placed in front of you. And of course, like, it is a Metal Gear Solid game, so you're getting text. Like, you're talking on comms all the time and often, because the game cares about story as well. It's not abandoning the plot. But I do think they do a good job of like balancing the two, like giving you the story, but then just kind of setting you loose.
Yeah. And even some of that dialogue is a mechanic, particularly the radio.
Yeah.
Because when you get into a new area, if you pick up a new weapon, if you get new camo, maybe even if you encounter different animals, I don't know. But you go into your radio and you can talk to Major Zero, and he's going to say something that has to do with the scenario you're in.
Yep.
Maybe talk strategy, things that you might be able to try. You can talk to, what's his name, Singet? He tells you about your camo and your weapons and gives you tips on those things. Paramedic is there and teaches you how to deal with different injuries, because there's a whole system for that. For better or for worse, we'll talk about that. And just using that radio to gather information is really part of the process. And throughout playing this game, I also felt like this is sort of like the survival genre blended with a more traditional action game.
Oh yeah, that stamina bar, huh? New to the series as well, right? I don't think you had a stamina bar in the well, you didn't have to like eat food in the other ones, I don't think.
Right.
Did you find that annoying?
I found it interesting for sure. It was an idea that they wanted to implement to, immerse you more.
Yeah.
To make sure that you're thinking about the process, to really simulate this stealth infiltration, this mission, not just be a video game of
Yeah,
stealth.
I think that was intentional to like fit in with the time, because it's not. I mean, the other Metal Gear games are futuristic and high tech, and the ethics around that, and some of that is even built into the themes of those games. But this one was like, yeah, no, you're in the jungle, and your stomach's gonna growl, and like you've got to manage that. And I think that's just, I don't know, it's just another chance for Kojima to be clever, and he took it.
Yeah. I wonder if, can they hear your stomach growling?
Yeah, think
if
so.
They're close.
I think so.
Yeah, I thought they should be able to.
Yep.
I mean, if I had to bet money on it, one way or the other, just knowing Kojima
Right.
without being sure, I would bet yes.
They can hear your stomach. Yeah.
But I did think it was tedious. A
Sure.
lot of that. Like,
Sure.
it kind of felt unnecessary.
Yeah.
Changing the camo also felt like a little excessive. Like, of course, and not only that, it always struck me as, so this guy is taking off all his clothes right here
Right
behind
now.
this tree.
Yeah.
And then he takes a few more steps and the environment changes a little bit. You know, there are less leaves and more rocks, so he changes his clothes again real quick.
Yeah. That
Suspension
part
of disbelief.
And you've got to do
Very
that
important.
with these games. I mean,
Yeah.
the games are silly. They're also very self-aware, like very self-aware. So like,
Yeah.
I can get over that. The part about the camo though that I'm like eye roll is, there were some moments when I was like, okay, that looks right. Like that looks like it blends in pretty well. And then like the percentage meter that like tells you, like there's an in-game mechanic that tells you like if you are hidden, like how hidden you actually are. And it was like lower than I would expect. I'm like, I don't know about that, but
Oh, boo.
whatever.
Yeah, but that takes into account a lot of things, like just standing up versus crouching versus laying.
Yeah.
It changes dramatically. If you're staying still, it goes up. If you're moving, it goes down.
Mhm.
Really, if there's light on you, I think it goes down.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're in grass, it goes up. It's really robust.
Yeah, especially for the time.
So yeah, that's kind of, the stealth is cool. The camo's a little tedious. How about the cure menu? That's where you have to use all of your little items that you collect, like bandages and styptic and disinfectant and a cigar and sutures and your entire medical examining room that you're carrying with you to treat different kinds of wounds. What did you think of that?
It's annoying. I mean, I do like the management of like injuries. I like as a concept. In practice here, the more that I had to deal with it, the more I was like, I'm kind of getting annoyed at this, but I'm putting up with it. Especially the way you navigate that menu. It's stylized, and they chose to make it look that way, and so it's kind of just maybe not so intuitive, but you get used to it.
Yeah, you end up going through it pretty quickly, but also by that point, I'm thinking, oh wow, this was cool the first couple times that they put this thought into it, but like, couldn't I just also have like a single quote unquote bandage item in my that I can put in my normal cycle of weapons or items and just use that and have it reflected in my health bar as opposed to this whole interface? Probably would have been easier to make the game.
I'm wondering if that was like a quality of life thing they changed in the new one, in the Delta. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know.
No,
just like that would be a nice thing.
The game is pretty much, for the most part, unchanged, except for the control scheme has changed, thank goodness. They put shooting up on a shoulder button and they moved the face buttons around. I looked at that and it just seemed infinitely more intuitive. Definitely worth it
to modern standards.
Yeah. And then what was the other thing? Updated controls, quality of life improvements, like changing the camo just with your D-pad instead of having to go into the menu, because I guess the analog sticks are probably better at doing the slower sneaking, or maybe there's a face button that kind of is like a shift key for it. I'm not sure. They give you CQC prompts on screen so you know when you're the right distance to do your hand-to-hand combat things, and also which buttons to press while holding a guy, which can be easy to forget like how to do each of the things, because you can do a lot of stuff after you grab an enemy.
Yeah.
You can choke them out, you can slice their throat, you can threaten them to make them talk. If you have a gun, you can hold them up, and you can do a lot of stuff. So it gives you prompts for that, and it lets you customize the UI. So
That's nice.
yeah, a lot of quality of life stuff in that one, but they did not change the cure menu, so that one's there to stay.
I am glad I played the original so that I can get a taste for the controls all over the place. I mean, from combat to just kind of moving around. It's
Would
different.
you call this game
but, like,
janky?
See, I was dancing around that word in my mind. Yeah, but I mean, in a way that's acceptable. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 is janky. It's like super janky, but I love that game, and you get used to it. So it's the same thing here for me. But I do think it was wise of them to update on the new one, the shooting controls to more modern standards.
I felt a real steep curve. Well, would I say it's steep? Maybe it was a gradual curve, because it affected me for a long time. To adjust to playing this game, I kind of looked like I'd never played a video game before. When I first started, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Did you do the classic kneel, crawl, kneel, crawl, kneel, crawl, kneel, crawl, stand up?
Yeah.
Finally, process.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's another thing added in the new one. There is crouch walking in Delta.
Ooh, would have been nice.
Yes. How many times have I been crouching and tried to move the analog stick to like do a little duck walk, and he goes into the crawl, and now we're in first person because I'm in grass. I can't see anything.
I do like the first person though. I did like that.
Yeah, I actually really like the option they added to Subsistence, which is the version I played this time. I originally played Snake Eater, the one without the updated camera, but this time I tried Subsistence with the 3D adjustable camera, on the fly. And I thought that was good, although I actually preferred playing the game with the original camera as the game was designed, and then using the 3D camera and the free form controls of it when necessary, when the overhead view just wasn't working. Just pop right down into the 3D camera, look around, and then go back. Because a lot of times that overhead camera actually gives you a better view of your surroundings, and sometimes it doesn't. So like switching back and forth was really useful.
And you said Kojima was against that being in the game originally?
Yes, because he just wanted some sort of consistency between the three games, probably especially because this was such a big departure in other ways.
Yeah, I can respect that for sure. And I mean, even if it wasn't in the game, it's still playable. Like, it's still fine. It's just a nice to have, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So because it was such a big departure, what were your feelings specifically about those outdoor jungle areas as a stealth approach to your objectives versus more of the building infiltration based parts of this game that came later and also earlier in the series? Did you think it worked as well?
Yes, it worked differently. In my mind, honestly, I was kind of shocked at how much you're outside in this game. I mean, for the majority of the game, you are. I thought it was going to be, okay, cinematic intro sequence, drop point, you're now in the jungle, go inside somewhere, but not really. I mean, and to me, it's an intentional choice, obviously. And I prefer the previous entries being indoors, being on the ship at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2 in the confined spaces. I like that a lot. I think, those games get creative in their own right of how you hide from enemies and sneak around. But this one being more open, again, I'm going back to the sandbox thing. I felt like I was kind of set loose more in this one than in the previous ones because the environment is outside, and I grew to love it. I mean, I like both of them in different ways, but it was weird at first to just be like, okay, no, we're in the jungle. the whole game.
Yeah, it's pretty much the entire first half of the game, like right up to the
Hmm.
end boss and a little after. That's all
Yep.
just jungle. You go into a couple of
Yep.
buildings briefly, but it's mostly jungle. And then you have a section, pretty quick section, on the mountaintop before getting to
Yep.
Groznygrad. And then, yeah, I would say like less than half is inside a big
Yep.
facility like the other game. I do feel like the game has a better back half. What do you think?
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Do you
And why
agree
is
with
that? Why is that?
Well, let's move on to the story.
Okay.
Yeah, this is part of my answer. I
Gotcha.
feel like it kind of is a little slow to start,
Hmm.
but it also doesn't have the slow burn, quote unquote, slow burn suspense that keeps you hanging on the story in the early half of the game. It just feels like a
Mhm.
long exposition to me. What do you think?
I mean, all MGS games is just straight exposition. In my mind, it's just like you're along for the ride. But I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. Also, this one, the cutscenes were very heavily front loaded, or like the beginning
Mm.
of the game was majorly
There's so
cutscenes.
many. Yeah,
Yeah.
so many.
I did some measurements here. After 2.5 hours of playtime, I felt like we were just starting the game.
Yeah.
That was like
Yep.
after that initial virtuous mission. And then, well, this is actually important. What difficulty did you play on?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't super challenging. I don't remember what I chose.
Yeah. Okay. In this game, I played on normal to start, and I had one sort of experience. And then afterward, I went back through just to see the differences in time, and I like blasted through it on easy. And the same point that was 2.5 hours of playtime was 30 minutes when I skipped all the cutscenes.
Mm.
And then again, 3 hours and 30 minutes of playtime. And we're still in the forest in the first few areas because you go through the beginning and then you repeat that a couple years later in the story.
Hmm.
That was about 60 minutes or less.
Oh wow.
3.5 hours turned into 60 minutes. And by the time I got to the end boss, which is the middle of the game, interestingly, I was about like 5 hours faster than my normal playthrough, watching all the
Oh my
cutscenes and
goodness.
doing the codec and stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's my first playthrough, so like I did notice it, but I guess I was more okay with it because it's feeding me. I'm here for the story too, and so, but it does take a long time. I mean, there's a point when Naked Snake lands in the jungle and like takes off his mask, and there's like 10 different angles of him taking that mask off. It's just like it's like so Bollywood,
Yeah.
And so that's probably some of the culprit is just how much time they spend, and him flicking the cigar, and it's like slow-mo on the cigar moving.
Lots of lingering. Yeah.
Yeah, and it front loading that makes sense to me. They want to show off because at the time cutscenes like this were really impressive and cool, and I guess it makes sense that they wanted to show those off early.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. You're right. At the time, having all these cutscenes would have been like the thing that you showed up for, maybe. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, look what they're doing.
Look at the
It's all
graphics.
it's all in engine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the sunrise reflection on his mask. Come on, that's sick. That's still
Mhm.
sick to me, and was still impressive. I wonder what I was selecting, by the way, when it asks you that question. Like, I haven't played Metal Gear. I like the first one. I like the second one. I thought that was the difficulty.
It gives you, oh man, what is it? If you pick MGS2, I think he wears a Raiden mask for like a certain part of the beginning of the virtuous mission. If you choose, I like MGS1, it gives you, something. I don't think it really has an effect.
Okay. He was just trolling with that one. Yeah, okay. Then I think I also played on normal, just to answer your original question. I don't think I would have gone easy or any higher.
Yeah. And those difficulty levels, if you go higher, it takes away some of your tools that you have. Because in this game, you also don't have that incredibly detailed high-tech radar that you had in Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2, where you see everyone in the area, which way they're facing, how far they can see, what a camera can see.
We're in the
It really
60s,
gives you
dude.
tons of info. Exactly. You have much more rudimentary tools that you have to use manually. Like you have to click your sonar, or you have to leave your motion detector on, and it detects people, it detects animals. Who knows what these dots are? And it drains battery the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, the realism is pretty good here. I mean, and does add to that survival aspect, which is super unique to me in the series, and I can see it turning some people off when this game came out.
Yeah, a little bit more opaque to manage how to do stuff. But the story's there to draw you in. Did the story really get you right from the beginning? And also, what did you think of the characters specifically?
So at first, I mean, once I realized, and I guess I read above before I started, that it was a prequel, I was like, okay, cool, because playing those original games is quite confusing. Maybe not Metal Gear Solid 1. That game kind of, it's not self-contained, but in a way it is. It tells a cohesive story, as cohesive as it can be. But then 2 is like crazy. Like 2 is super convoluted, and that's where you start getting a lot more of the like antics, right? The Kojima antics, and he's just making stuff up. Like you can tell that, they're in the room cutting the game up, and they're like, "What's this character called?" And he just throws out anything. Like, the end. Like just okay, sure. Naked boss or naked snake. All right, sure. So I will say with 3, I was expecting it to be like, okay, cool. This is the beginning of the story. It's going to make a little more sense to me, and it totally doesn't. Like it's just as it's just as confusing and exposition heavy as the others. But yeah, I mean, I'm here for this. This kind of like self-aware, over-the-top storytelling really does it for me. So yeah, I like the story. Characters that stand out, I think the bosses in this game are, I mean, and that's the case for the other games, but I really like the bosses in this game. I think the end is a funny one, especially with some of the like hidden things that you can do with that fight.
Yeah, the characters to me, I mean, I love the story overall. I always love all the Metal Gear Solid stories in total, taken as a whole.
Yeah.
But sometimes when we get into some of the individual characters, I'm like, what? Why? Why are you doing this? Why did you make this guy have an 18-inch long tongue? Why did you make this guy control bees or hornets or whatever? Like why does this person talk this way? Why did you make it so that this girl can make her motorcycle jump in the air and do a backflip without hitting a jump? Like a lot of the stuff to me, I'm like, it's like very anime-ish to me, which to some people, amazing. You love that. But to me, it goes like one step too far to jumping the shark. Like this is Jump the Shark, the video game. But but yeah, I love the story too. But I think since you mentioned the bosses, what about the bosses mechanically? Did you have a favorite? You just mentioned the end, but how did you feel about all of them? Taken one by one. Like we started off with, as I said, the guy who controls the bees. That's the pain. How did you feel about that one?
I said earlier that I kind of have broken up my journey with this game through the bosses and like leading up to and after the boss fights. I really like them. Like I like how different they are than the rest of the game. They feel like true boss fights because of that. And then the cutscenes leading up to them just kind of set it up for whatever ridiculous thing is going on. Like they all have a crazy intro, and it does feel very anime. But when you're fighting them, it's just so fun. Like you're just smiling. I think the pain is a really good first boss, like first major thing. So like driving off the bees so you can shoot him directly. That's fun. I keep bringing up the end boss because I think the end is so stupid and does remind me of Metal Gear Solid 1. What was that boss called? Psychomantis, that's what I'm thinking of. Where like he'll it knows what games are on your memory card, and so he'll like say, "Oh, you like playing this game?" Like it with the end. For those of you that don't know, the end is this old dude, and he's a sniper, and you can beat that boss if you go set your PS2 internal clock a week, or I don't know how long, I think it's a week ahead, and he dies of old age.
So that's right.
Great that's in the game at all. I mean, obviously I didn't know that playing it, so I played that normally, and I think you can also like kill him before the fight starts somehow.
Yes, you can snipe him when he's first introduced, like right after a cutscene where he first comes out.
It's perfect because he's a sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very memorable boss fights. So yeah, I think they did their thing. They did the Metal Gear thing, and it works. And also, I guess they're all linked with what, an emotion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another point where I thought like they got better as they went on. Like I didn't really enjoy the pain boss fight. But then the fear, I didn't love that one either because I didn't get the thermal goggles on my first playthrough, which really helped me out on the second one. But then you realize, if I cut these mushrooms off the bottom of the tree, well, they're poisonous. And this guy's whole shtick is that he gets really hungry. Like his stamina goes down. So he has to come down and eat some of the food from around the boss arena you're in. And if he eats these mushrooms, he gets sick, he stands still and throws up because normally he's leaping back and forth between tree branches. And he's really hard to follow because, coming back to the controls being a little tough to navigate and to like skillfully shoot with. So you have to use some of these other approaches, and that's cool. But then you get to the end and you have this huge battle of attrition. I just did it again, and I used the cigarette spray or the gas cigarette, whatever it's called, where you just pretend to smoke a cigarette, but you blow out this gas. And I killed him by repeatedly hitting him with that after sneaking up on him incredibly slowly for a long time. Nice. And then just hit him with the cigarette spray over and over again and got the non-lethal kill. And then, of course, he exploded. They're a lot like Pokemon, these enemies, because they say their names over and over.
Yeah.
The Fury. The Fury.
The Fury. Yeah, that fight's pure chaos.
Oh my
by
God.
the way.
Insane. My favorite one, though, I don't know what my favorite would be. I like the Volgan fight because it puts you on rails and you get you don't have to worry about the controls. You just are playing this insane action scene that at the time for a video game was probably top of the top. The whole end sequence of this game was just intense thing after intense thing over and over.
And I like in the Volgan fight how it incorporates the close quarters combat, which you had said earlier that in this game they expanded that to have a lot of options. So like timing is really important in that fight. Yes. And also Volgan is just so overtly evil. That might be the best one, and again, that's the last one I did, so that might be my favorite so far. But yeah, man, they're really solid.
Oh man, I can't wait till you go just a little bit further. Another thing I wanted to say was moving from Metal Gear Solid 2 to this game with the way this story is. Another big departure is kind of. This story, even though it's got this sort of convoluted espionage and double, triple agents, whatever it is, it's a little bit more straightforward and easy to digest. There's no crazy conspiratorial like Illuminati confirmed sort of
Mhm.
thinking in it. It's very much kind of a straightforward action, political espionage, war type movie
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah.
it's easy to follow, and it's very human because it's about the stories of these people and how they relate to each other in their missions.
Right.
It shows like them all being pawns in these geopolitical war games, because it's about as we said, the Cold War, but like nuclear arms race.
Yep.
Development of weapons, and this guy Volgan, who is he's an official. He's an officer in the military in the USSR, and he's essentially trying to gain power and maybe usurp power from Khrushchev in Russia, in the USSR. So that's all happening, but what you're playing through, the story is really kind of on the human scale and how you're relating to one another, especially between Naked Snake, and the boss, which is just an incredible dynamic throughout the game.
Yeah. It's like a philosophical war drama.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds silly on paper, but it works in this game. And I really do like, I mean, Kojima loves a character introduction. So there's like a lot of characters in these games. And I like how they interact. I like Naked Snake here. I think it adds a lot to the other games because of that. So it's cool that it's like real world history setting in time, but then he just fills it in with all this like fantastical stuff. It works really well.
I feel like a little dumb playing because sometimes I don't know where reality ends and Kojima world begins. I'm like, wait, what actually happened in this?
Yeah. History 101 with Kojima. Yeah.
Yeah. The majority of it is fake, but the setting is like so closely tied to real history. It gets a little blurry, which is really cool. Yeah, it's a talent he has.
I got my history education from Kojima.
Yeah. Go take your AP history test with this information. But speaking of the characters, is Lori Allen the best voice actress in the history of video games? I love that character so much.
I mean, that's bold. She's great. I mean, and it's still David Hayter.
Yeah.
David's just, I mean, he is this series, and so it's nice to have him here. But yeah, Lori Allen, what else has she done?
A lot of TV, actually. She's like a legit actress. She's
I might know exactly.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up too. Looks like she was in the SpongeBob movies.
There you go. Fantastic Four, Hey Arnold, Family Guy. She's in Toy Story 4, Despicable Me,
I haven't seen that one.
Toy Story 3, Wall-E. She's legit.
She knows what she's doing. And I think she and David handled that dialogue really well. Like playing off of each other, felt believable, considering the setting and the world that we're in.
That character is also a shining example of how to write and present a strong woman. Just so good. So good. But at the same time, you have some characters that are just cartoon vibes, like I said. They're like
the gun twirling,
like excess bravado. They're talking like, "Hey, I'm gonna be so important with the way that I talk and enunciate," and she's just like talking like a real person.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting combo. Anything else that really stands out to you that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I like in this game, there are moments when they're giving you backstory or like setup, and they'll use like actual footage with like a sepia, moments like that, and then kind of fade you back into the like game graphics. I like that a lot. I think it adds a lot to the tone of the game that they're trying to communicate to the player. And so you kind of have to be along for the ride for that, but I think the graphics look really good, honestly. And again, I played the original. I didn't even play the whatever you say that word, the one you were talking about. And I don't know if graphically if that's different at all, but
I don't think so. But that means that you didn't have the 3D camera. You just had the overhead and the first person when it went to first person. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and like I said, I was happy with it. I know what mechanic you're talking about because I had seen it, but yeah, game still works.
Yeah,
but
I was too. When I first played the game, like I was perfectly happy with the regular way, but I was also perfectly happy having both of them. Oh, sorry, I just cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, it's all good. I like I was saying, I think it looks fantastic still. There's some aging aspects to it, especially in the jungle areas. I mean, there's a ton of texture on the trees, on the grass, on the ground.
Excessively green also.
Yeah, it's very green and different shades of green because, again, they want you to try the camouflage mechanic in different ways. But overall, I mean, I think it's still quite effective. I think Snake looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that hard to parse visually a lot of the time in the jungle. Which is, again, another reason I keep every little complaint I have generally refers to a lot of stuff that happens in the first half of the game, which then comes back to support what I said earlier, how I kind of liked the back half better. And especially because the story really starts to ramp up back then. Yeah. What else? Oh, something that I really loved that I totally forgot about. I don't know if I even knew about it, but when you're kind of playing around with the CQC system and grabbing people and holding them up and asking them questions, interrogating them, whatever it is. Yep. You can get one of the enemies or many of the enemies, whatever certain number of the enemies will tell you, use this frequency to call off the alert. So if you have an alert status, you can go in and use that frequency and it cancels the alert. Whoa. Which was just so cool. And then
I didn't know that.
It'll say, as per protocol, we're changing this frequency. So then you can't just do it over and over again. You can do it once, and then you have to find someone else to tell you the alert cancel frequency later.
You just have so many options. That's crazy. Yeah. That they thought to do cool.
That. Yeah. All right. I think we covered the majority of this stuff. We got the bosses, we got I guess the audio. We did mention the music briefly, and we just talked about the voice acting, but the music, I think you said, is incredible. Is that right?
It's fantastic. That title theme alone would carry the game, but I mean, obviously that's not all you're getting, but man, it's so good.
I think at a part that you're about to reach, I even wrote in my note, the music after the bridge, to keep it vague, is dope with 6 O's in my notes.
Really specifically.
There's a really cool part where there's a cutscene with Snake and whoever he's with at the time, and the music kicks in and you go into this fight and it's just so amping. Really cool.
Nice.
All right. So here we are. At the end of the episodes, we decide whether the game was worth playing in 2025 and beyond. And if it is worth playing, if we would recommend it. And if it is or was, we call it a smash. And if it wasn't, well, then it has to be a brick. So, Nolan, what is Metal Gear Solid 3? A smash or a brick, and why?
I mean, you could probably tell by now. It's a smash. I mean, I think, first of all, I think the PS2 catalog is the greatest in gaming. I don't think many people would dispute that. Some would have their opinions here and there, but I mean, it's crazy, right?
Really good.
This one has to be in the top 10 somewhere. Now, I said earlier that I would reveal my favorite in the series if you listen to the end. I still think Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1 is my favorite. I think it's just a near perfect game. started this new branch for the Metal Gear series with Kojima, and I love it. But 3 is, and I'm on track. I'm not done beating it, but it is on track to being so highly ranked for me. And again, I'm playing the original. So like if you have so many options now, if you haven't played the game or if you want to revisit it, to find even better versions, I'm sure. But even if you end up playing the first, you're good. It's a smash.
Nice. That's interesting that you like the first one the best. The most kind of streamlined, to the point, purpose-built,
Yep.
within a set of mechanics. That's how it got popular. As for me, I had emotions playing this game, a variety of emotions. And early on in this playthrough, I was leaning towards saying, you know what? I think this has, as NGP has the section in your podcast, the aged section.
Mm-hmm.
I think this has aged way too much. This is what I was thinking at first.
Yep.
I felt like the controls and the setup for those outdoor environments and the stealth was just not quite to my liking, and that it was clunky. It was hard to really make it feel how I wanted to feel playing a game like this. And I was just leaning a certain way. But as I said in the intro, Metal Gear Solid 3 skill issue. This was me playing on normal. Then I went back and I played it, as I said, but I didn't quite reveal how I did it. I played about half the game on normal. Then I went back and I played that same half the game on easy. Then I came back and finished it on normal. But after playing normal, having a struggle, going back playing on easy because I'm a terrible gamer, and kind of having a better experience, I realized that it's really important to play this game either to your skill level or playing it on a very hard difficulty where you can fail more quickly. Because in this game, you kind of want to play it, and if you mess up, there's this really long-winded process of getting back to playing again. Like there's the hiding process. You have to wait for the alerts. You feel overwhelmed because the guards are coming, and you kind of have to reset your whole life when you get caught in a certain way.
Sure.
So in the really high difficulties, even though it's harder, you have this caveat that if you're seen, you have to start over. Or that's on the European extreme difficulty, whatever it's called. But even on the other high difficulties, you just die faster and then you get back to
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, man, I want to retry, because it didn't give me the opportunity to hone my skills by retrying things that I messed up much, because it was a longer cycle. But then playing on easy, I got to kind of take it at the pace that I was supposed to take it at. It didn't feel like this is another thing, is that when I played it the first time, I would get seen and then I would just kind of give up and say, okay, I'm just running through. I would give up on trying to do it right. So when I was committed to doing it the right way and taking my time, it became a lot more fun. So really interfacing with the game the way that is appropriate for you, I think, is important. And then ultimately, after acclimating, which again I said took a long time, I got to enjoy it a lot more, even on the normal difficulty.
Nice.
But I think this game is a smash. It's an incredible game. It has very deep systems, whether they are a little clunky or very clunky or a little tedious or whatever it is. It comes together to be unlike pretty much anything else, including the rest of the games in its own series. And even though I do think that watching it as a movie could potentially be just as, or even possibly more enjoyable than playing the game. I think it's a matter of like what mood you're in the day that you're playing it. It's just that kind of game to me. But I think many people will have less of a hang up on certain particulars of controls than what I did. And ultimately, the story is just too good. It's just too just emotionally gripping by the end. And like you really feel invested in the characters by the end that it just has to be experienced one way or another. But I do think that people, even though you said it's great to try as a first play with the original, I would suggest to anyone who's like debating, do I go back and get this game or do I just get the new one? I would probably say just buy the new one. Like, as far as I know about the differences, you're not losing the integrity of the original game, and you're gaining so much as far as the fidelity and the control and the quality of life stuff. So I would say just play the new one. But because it is so similar to this one, that doesn't mean that this one is not a smash, because it's just the same game, but with a lot of polish.
Where do you rank this one?
I don't know, man. It's tough. I got to go back and play. I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 2 actually in this last month because I wanted to compare the styles of stealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do like that kind of focused infiltration where you're already in the base and using the special radar and stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, I got used to the way Snake Eater did it. And up until this point, up until you suggested playing Metal Gear Solid 3, in my mind, Metal Gear Solid 3 was my favorite. Having played all of them all in a row back then, I came away from that saying, oh, Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite of these. But now, I'm not sure. I feel like 2 and 3 kind of like, they're sort of neck and neck for different reasons. I remember liking 4 a lot also, but I don't really remember much of anything about it.
Might be time for a replay.
Yeah, that could be another one.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 3 probably, it's like between number 1 and number 4 of the 4 that I've played.
Gotcha. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. All right. So, with that, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater and Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence is a smash and is worth revisiting in 2025 and beyond. I've got one quick listener commentary here from Ms. Muso. So I'd never played a Metal Gear Solid title before, but the memes and quote greatest game moments were well known to me. MGS3 presented itself as being a seriously unserious affair, and after 15 minutes of cutscenes, it was time to control Naked Snake, then watch more. I really wanted the chance to cheese the end boss by leaving the game for a week. I didn't quite get there. The first couple of hours, this was pretty much a movie. It occurred to me this is what MGS is kind of about. Insane storytelling, cinematic style. Why were 2000s games obsessed with the Soviets/KGB, by the way? Anyway, if you hold on, there's a lot to enjoy in MGS3. I found myself more stifling the giggles than ever feeling frustrated. You kind of have to stop and smell the roses all the way through. I've only played 7 hours, and I will keep going. Awesome. Thanks for writing in. Thanks, everybody, for listening and for playing along with us. If you did, tell your friends. Tell your friends about the show. That's the best way to support the show. Another way, if you haven't done so yet, is go and leave us a 5-star rating or any star rating, but if you made it this far, it'd probably be 5 stars, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is. Do that. It's totally free. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the show monetarily while gaining some fun perks, head over to patreon.com/smashingbricks and become a patron for as little as $1 a month. As always, I would like to thank Tanuki level supporter Ms. Muso. Nolan knows Ms. Muso.
I do.
And Smashing Bricks also has a Discord server where you can go talk about anything you want. And that includes the games we played, the games we're playing, suggestions you want to make, etc. So head over there. That's discord.smashingbricks.com. Links to everything mentioned, plus Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, can be found in the episode description and at links.smashingbricks.com. As for next episode, I will be joined once again by Mr. James Batchelor. I love having James here. And we will be playing Jack and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, also
nice.
for the PlayStation 2. This
Very
was a
nice.
game that came out in 2001 that was part of that bonus round episode where we figured out which games were the best.
One of the heavy
because
hitters.
I had just started it. Yeah.
Nice.
So get your hands on a copy of that, play along, send in your thoughts, and join us next time on Smashing Bricks. That wraps it up for today. I'm still Eddie Inzauto. That is Nolan from New Game Plus. Thanks, Nolan.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. It was great to be back.
Yeah, love having you here. And until next time, may the nostalgia be with you. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. Snake eater.